Hello and welcome back to the John and Adrian podcast. John, I think we should start off with the NBA to start off this week or this episode, right? So the Lakers are going to the Western Conference Finals. We both saw that coming. One thing I don't think either of
I
us.
saw that coming. That's not.
Yeah, I mean it's the most obvious thing in the world. The Lakers are going to go to the Western Conference Finals. But I bet you didn't expect the Nuggets to force a Game 7.
No, I didn't. But I have insider information. Okay, if if the Nuggets win the series, then I can predetermine who will win the last one. Okay, so you know our good friend Isaiah, right?
Right.
He has not been right about a single series in the Western Conference. He's gotten every single series wrong. So he's currently rooting for the Clippers, and the only reason he is because his Rockets lost. He's like, the Rockets lost, they're done. I'm done with them. I'm a Clippers fan now. And ever since he switched, the Clippers have not won a game.
That's
so
funny.
so the fact that he was completely defeated in series going into this, and now that he's flipped to the Clippers, they haven't won a game. It's about to go to Game 7. I'm all in. The Nuggets are gonna win this series. He screwed the Clippers over. It's done. Okay. So then I'm gonna convince him to root for the Nuggets in the next series. That way, the Lakers will go on.
That's absolutely brilliant. Shit. Hold up. Give me a second.
Who needs any type of facts, any type of film analysis? Okay, I got Isaiah, who just has the worst luck. It's literally like the Drake curse.
Right. He is absolutely terrible at guessing. If he's guessed every single series wrong, it's terrible. Well, the Celtics won their Game 7, so they're playing the Heat. Uh,
I think the Heat will win that one.
yeah. I mean, like I said, Andre Iguodala is gonna go
Shut
all the
up.
way.
I know.
He's going to the finals, John. You're just salty. That's all it is. They're gonna lose in the finals, but they're going to the
They might
finals.
not lose in the finals. We don't know. We don't know who Isaiah is going to root for in the
He's gonna
Western
root for
Conference yet.
he's gonna root for the the Heat or the Celtics. He's not gonna root for the Lakers. He's a little salty boy. All right, all right. NBA talk out of the way. Let's go back to the NFL. Um, we made our predictions in last episode, right? And
Yeah.
we got the Chiefs game right, and then so we're just gonna go through the week, and I don't think we're gonna talk really in depth about every single game, but the games
No.
we're
I
just
just
gonna
ran through
mention
it
them.
right now.
Yeah.
I got 8 right. You got 9. And then if the Broncos win, we'll be tied.
What? I said the.
I
Did I say
got
the?
8 games right. You
Oh,
said the
okay.
Titans.
Okay. Oh, you wrote it down?
Yeah, I wrote it down.
Oh, okay. I don't. Okay. So the Bills, Jets. I think we both said Bills, right? Because it was just
Yeah, we both said Bills.
right. There's really not much to say about that game except
Mhm.
Leonard Fournette did get hurt in that game. So
Yeah.
sorry, Jets
Um,
fans. I guess I don't know. Or not Leonard
Le'Veon Bell, you
Fournette,
mean?
Le'Veon Bell. Yeah, Le'Veon
No,
Bell.
no, no. The Jets are gonna have the season they've ever had. Frank Gore's their starting running back now. They got the GOAT at running back. Okay, they're about to go 15-1, but he's just gonna put the team on his shoulders.
Yeah, he's just gonna have to put him on his back real quick. That's all. That's all Leonard Fournette's gonna have to do.
He's gonna be like, all right, in return, y'all gotta draft my son so we can play together in 3 years. Keep
Right. In
me.
return, please just draft my boy so we can run the league, baby. We're gonna run it. Um, Packers Vikings. The we both said Packers, right? Because the Vikings doo
Yes,
doo.
Vikings suck.
This one annoys me the most because fantasy wise, what's his Aaron Devontae Park or not Adams. I'm getting all the names mixed up
Yeah,
right now.
Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams
He
popped
balled
off.
out.
He
I
balled
love
out.
him.
You won your fantasy, bro. Just off that.
Same thing happened last year. I made sure to draft him again. I got 206 points right now. I might not be good at pick'ems apparently, but fantasy,
Fantasy.
give it to me.
No, Aaron Jones, thank God he saved me with garbage time points.
Mm.
But up until then, he was at like 5 points. So they did not rely on the run whatsoever in that game, which was really annoying. But at least I got points. I lost this week,
Yeah,
which I expected, but it's fine.
yeah, I won. I did not expect to blow out everyone else in the league with
See,
206
I got
points.
screwed over because literally every single one of my wide receivers except Calvin Ridley shat the bed. Like they they all just like I picked no, yeah, I picked so my starting wide receivers are Keenan Allen, Devontae Parker, and Calvin Ridley, right?
Hmm.
And Keenan Allen and Devontae Parker were my next two best receivers behind Calvin Ridley, and they both only scored or Devontae Parker scored 8 and like Keenan Allen scored 7, and then Mike Evans only scored 7 as well. So it's like no matter what receiver I put in, I was getting screwed over. So and then Nick Chubb, we'll get to the Browns game here in a second, but yeah, so it was
We're getting
not a
sidetracked with fantasy. Let's
yeah.
finish the pick'ems.
Let's finish the pickums. Eagles game,
We both
Washington.
said Eagles,
We
which
both
is
said
very
Eagles,
surprising.
but here's the thing about that game. I did not think the Eagles' offensive line was as bad as it was. Like,
Hmm. Like we knew it was bad, but like it's still better. I think we underestimated the Redskins D line more than we overestimated the Eagles O line. I think we forgot about Jonathan Allen, Ryan Kerrigan, Chase
Sweat.
Young. They have so many
They
people
they
on
really
that defensive
do,
line.
but it's just like
But that's the only thing that team has.
right.
So
They
we'll
they
see how
they
Derek
sacked the Eagles
plays.
like 8 times. They pressured Carson Wentz 20 times, and they
Yeah,
like made him fumble twice or something. Right. So
this
it's
is
like
not a defense I would go get in fantasy
no.
because
Oh
if
my
you
God,
go up
no.
against any good offensive line and it's
They're gonna get
done.
murdered. But on the flip side, pick up the defense that is playing the Eagles if they have a half decent defensive line. All right,
Yeah.
if they have a half decent defensive line, they are gonna murder the Eagles.
Mhm.
So like I got screwed over in this game too, because you know what they did to try to like save Carson Wentz in this game? They made Zach Ertz block the entire game. So I got absolutely railed in that situation. Like he caught one pass for a touchdown, so like that's fine. But like other than that, he just blocked the entire game. So absolutely just like I hate it. The Eagles are doo doo. I didn't think they'd be doo doo, but they're doo doo. Which another thing, the Washington football team currently leads the NFC West.
Let's go. Let's go.
They they
Ballers.
are big ballers. They are
Champion.
winning their division. So you just lock them
AJ
in for the
Pearson feels real
playoffs.
stupid right about now.
Just lock them in for their division, dog. Like
All
it's a
right.
done deal.
Next is the Ravens and Browns, and we split on this one. I said the Browns
I
because they
said
beat them in
Ravens.
the beginning of the season last year. I'm like,
No,
they
they
can
did
do it
it.
again.
Oh well, but I was okay. The Browns, I believe, are 0-15 or something like that in their last ever since they got actually no their last 22 starting like week 1 games they've lost except for one tie, I think. So they are terrible week 1, which
Imagine going 2 decades without winning your opener.
right. So it's like
Terrible.
maybe they won one game in that time span, but like they're it's still they're terrible week 1, and especially
Yeah.
against the Ravens it was like I knew that they're just not going to be good. But I didn't think they would get blown out. Like this is the only
This is
like
32 points, bro.
yeah,
Only
it's
blowout the whole week.
like they got like I knew teams were gonna be bad and like not every team was gonna be like up to par, but it's
Hmm.
like how do you get blown out? Like you're the team that everyone is like, oh, they got better in the off season.
We're
Like
still hyping them up. When will we learn?
when will we learn that the Browns are never gonna do anything? It's like I mean, you go from nothing to something. It's like, bro, you're all right. You're better. You're somewhat better now. No, they're still doo doo. They're gonna get like third in their division.
I
So
guess you could say Odell shot the bed.
Odell did shat the bed. He loves to shat in the bed. Odell loves shatting. He's the number 2 wide receiver on that team. So
Yeah. Next up, we got the Colts and Jags. You said Colts, I said Jags. Let's go. I flipped
Fucking
it back around.
doo doo. It is doo doo. It's Philip Rivers. It's completely Philip Rivers' fault. He loves his fourth quarter interceptions. He just loves them.
Wait,
Like,
I'm looking at the stat sheet, and Jacoby Brissett is on here. Did he have snaps? Because it
did
says he has 0 completions on 0 attempts for 0 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Did he just hand the ball off or something? So they have
I
to put
don't
him on.
I don't remember, if I'm being honest.
Gardner
Maybe they
Minshew
might have
popped off
pulled
3
him.
touchdowns.
Yeah, but
One
Gardner Minshew.
incompletion. Damn.
Yeah, I think he's. It's like one of those like really obscure stats of like, oh, this is the first
Yeah.
quarterback since 1953 with
So
1920 snaps on his sophomore
that's
season. So it's like,
95%
yeah,
completion, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, he did. He
Damn.
played really well that game. Um, a funny thing about that game though, every single one of the like celebration touchdowns that the Jags did in that game, it was just Gardner Minshew coming up towards the end of it, trying to like get involved, and it's like they obviously didn't tell him what they were gonna do, so he's just trying to figure it out as like the celebration's going on, and it's just funny. It's just really funny looking. Uh, yeah, no,
Next is Raiders Panthers. I convinced you the Panthers were gonna win. I didn't even say anything. I just said, "Oh wait, the Panthers have Christian McCaffrey," and instantly you flipped. Like,
yeah. Well,
which is good for me. He got me 28.4 fantasy points, so I am not complaining. But he still lost.
right, like uh, I just thought I see. This is what I think it was so easily for me to flip was because like I just hate the Raiders with a deep passion, and so I'm happy to see them lose. And like when I forget that the other team has a running back that can just win
Yeah,
games.
Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
He did really good. 93 yards, 3 touchdowns. Who had him
See,
in our?
I don't
That's
know.
really good.
I
Doesn't
wouldn't
matter.
know.
Hope it was Ivan.
But here's the thing: like when like the Panthers this offseason, they only drafted defensive players, and I think they added only defensive players. So like, sure, their defense is filled with a bunch of rookies and like unknowns, but it's like that's their entire draft class. So I thought maybe they'd have an improved defense, right? But I guess not. They let 34 points. But also that doesn't speak well for the Raiders either. It's like you let the Panthers score 30 points on you, bro. That's not good. Um this game, the Bears Lions game, this game actually makes me upset, and
Poor guy.
the
I feel bad for him. He had one of the touchdowns. He was a big factor in scoring in this game.
no,
3 carries, 8 yards, but he had the one touchdown. Okay, you gotta give
no,
him
this
that.
game was Adrian Peterson's game, all right? He had
Zero
93
touchdowns.
yards. He had 93 yards though. He's the closest I think to a 100-yard rusher that the Lions have had since Barry Sanders, all right?
Now,
Um
didn't on Johnson break that record a couple of years ago? I
uh,
thought he did.
no,
He got managed to get out
he
of
probably got
there.
like 99. They were like, "Oh, they almost had it."
He did it. He got 97 yards, guys.
Yeah,
He did it.
he did it. He broke it. The closest since Barry Sanders. But that's not 100 yards. He still did it. He got
He
close
did
to
it. He did it. Speaking of Barry Sanders, we have to refer to him as Bernie Sanders
Bernie
now
Sanders.
because of
The
who a Giants announcer. He's like, Saquon Barkley's chasing Bernie Sanders, the GOAT. And I'm like, yes, Bernie Sanders is the GOAT of all running backs.
yeah, you sent me that and I had to listen to it a couple times. I was, I'm not sure if he did say Bernie, but
He said
he definitely said he probably
Bernie
said Bernie if
and
anything.
then caught himself midway through when it was too late. He was like, Bernary.
Yeah,
It's the greatest of all time. But it's too late. It was Bernie Sanders.
but
So we both said Lions here.
but
And
let's talk about Mitchell Trubisky here in this game. All right, 242 yards, 3 touchdowns. All right, that's more
the Lions,
touchdowns than
bro.
Deshaun Watson, and that's more passing yards than Patrick Mahomes. Is he better than both those
Okay.
quarterbacks? I'd say so.
I
I'd
mean,
say
same
so.
drum class.
uh,
Next is Seahawks. We both said them. Not much to say there.
yeah, the Seahawks.
Patriots. We split on this one. I said Patriots, you said Dolphins, because you were convinced the Patriots were going to be shit, and I told you no. Okay,
Okay,
they weren't.
I
Oh
was
no, vice
convinced.
versa. Vice versa. My bad. I said Patriots, you said Dolphins.
Right, yeah. No, here's the thing. I wasn't expecting Ryan Fitzmagic to throw 3 interceptions in week 1. All right, that's not like him. Okay, he doesn't throw 3 interceptions in week 1. He throws 3 interceptions in week 5. Okay, he.
uh,
So I was expecting some magic. They come out here, they ball up. Which Devontae Parker got injured halfway through this game, which is very
we'll
upsetting.
talk about entries later, I think.
Okay, after everything.
Mm.
Um, so I mean, it's like I just didn't want the Patriots to win. Okay, I wasn't was hoping for
I'm kind of
failure.
interested that Cam Newton did not. At least looking at the stat, I slept through all these games,
Right.
but looking at the stats, Cam Newton did not throw the ball exceptionally well. He had 155 on 15 completions and 19 attempts, but running the ball, 15
Yeah.
carries,
No. He.
75 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So Bill Belichick went and just got him 3 running backs. He's got Cam Newton, Sony Michelle, Rex Burkhead, and then James White.
Right.
Julian
To.
Edelman's playing quarterback now.
Yeah. No. I didn't. I didn't watch the Patriots game. I didn't watch most of these games. I watched pretty much a lot of games, but yeah, the Patriots game is not a one I watched.
Yeah.
So just not interested in it. Chargers Bill Bengals game. That is a game I watched, and I was very upset that I watched that game over the 49ers Cardinals game because it was just terrible. It was terrible football in my eyes. The score
Was
is
Tyrod Taylor bad?
no. It was just he wasn't bad, but he wasn't good. Like,
Yeah, okay, that's what we expect from him, though.
but no.
He
Here's the thing.
wasn't bad enough to get benched.
Right. He wasn't bad
Okay.
enough to get benched, but he wasn't good enough to win. Or he won the game, but it's like he only won the game
He didn't
because
win the game. Joe Burrow lost the
no, Joe
game.
Burrow didn't even lose the game. Like the Joe Burrow led on the final drive of the game. He led the Bengals to he
Yeah,
threw
yeah.
a pass to AJ Green, and then AJ Green got called for pass interference,
Hmm.
and then the kicker missed the 40-yard field goal
The
to tie
tying
the
field
game.
goal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to tie the game. So it's like they didn't even go to overtime or anything. So the Chargers just won by playing Charger football. Like terrible football, but they're at least better, slightly better than their team, like the team they're playing.
Look at Keenan Allen. I feel like is one of the most overrated receivers in the NFL.
He
This
is,
man is
but
out here getting 4 catches for 2,000 yards. It's the Bengals. Who stopped him? Jesse Bates. Jesse Bates stopped Keenan Allen. Is that what I'm supposed to believe?
but they didn't even look at him. That's the thing. I
I
don't know.
wouldn't either. I'm not gonna lie. If I was a Chargers quarterback, I wouldn't throw to him. He's just gonna get hurt. Why would I risk it?
I don't know. It's not like I picked him up as my number one receiver. I picked him up in the second to last
Yeah,
round.
no one wanted him. I
Right.
saw him there and I'm like, it's not worth it. I don't want
But
him.
here's the thing. I was like, I need more receivers. Like my receiving core is doo doo, and my receiving core is still doo doo. So
You just keep letting rounds go by, hoping he leaves, and he doesn't. You're like,
yeah.
but my receivers suck.
I need something better. Please just leave so I don't have to pick you.
Then Cardinals Niners. I didn't watch this game.
I
My dad
watched a
did,
little bit,
and
and from what I watched, I would blame the game on Jimmy Garoppolo. He
okay,
got George
so
Kittle killed in that game.
so the, when my dad watched the game was telling me his complaints were the complaints that he had that you would saw if you went back and watched the film of Garoppolo's first 5 games when we traded him midseason.
Yeah,
He did not play good. We went undefeated those games, and he did not play well. I don't know how we went undefeated in those games, but we did. And then he came back, and the next season we started out, I think, 1-2,
yeah,
and we should have been 0-3, and it's all because of him. I remember week 1 we played the Vikings and we lost because he threw a pick to Harrison Smith. The next week we played the Lions and we should have lost, but the pick 6 he threw got called back. And then week 3 we lose to the Chiefs because he gets hurt. Like he's putting
yeah.
that together a drive to tie the game in the third quarter, I think. which against the Chiefs is pretty big because the fact that we were that close is significant. But then he's like, I'm about to head out. I don't need to be here.
So
All
like,
3 games, it's like he makes poor decisions
yeah,
constantly.
that's what I'm saying. He made poor decisions in this game. Like the play where George Kittle got hurt, he threw the ball like the play was dead, right? Like he was just trying to throw it
Hmm.
to someone so that they could at least because I think George Kittle was behind the line of scrimmage. So like he
Yeah.
threw it above George Kittle's head and he had to jump to like attempt to catch it, and when he jumped, a Cardinals defender like
Hmm.
came in and just took his knees out from under him and he landed all funky. So George Kittle's probably going to be hurt for the rest of the season. Not hurt enough to like take him out of
Yeah.
games,
It was
but
something
hurt.
like the same thing happened last season. He had some minor injury that was bugging him all year, and it was because Garoppolo can't throw the ball in a window. He just throws it to the box. Um,
But I didn't see the Cardinals taking this game. Honestly, it surprised me.
s-
See, the thing is,
DeAndre Hopkins popped off for 14
well,
yards
that's
or
the only
14
guy
catches, 151 yards, which you would think,
they'd cover him.
someone hypes up, you know, Richard Sherman as much as they did last season, they would have the number one target covered up, which they did not at all.
I don't know who covered him in that game, but yeah, if it was
I would
Richard Sherman.
assume it was Richard Sherman. He's supposed to be the number one corner, but I don't know either, obviously.
But the thing is, with this game doesn't show that Kyler Murray is like an elite run or like elite quarterback. It just shows like I don't understand the hype around Kyler Murray. I don't see it. I don't think he's gonna be an elite
So
quarterback.
apparently, he did exceptionally well maneuvering the pocket against the 49ers defense. I don't know how true that is, but from what I've heard from like the news and stuff, they said Kyler Murray handled the 49ers defensive line very well, which is something
Right.
I didn't expect given how bad the Cardinals offensive
Well,
line
that's the
is.
thing. No, the Cardinals' offensive line was terrible, so he had to be shifty in the pocket, right? The
Hmm.
boy was running for his life the entire game, which is
Hmm.
I see him. I don't see him any better than Russell Wilson. I see him as a slightly worse Russell Wilson, right?
Okay, but Russell Wilson's like a top 3 quarterback though.
But I don't. Okay, I see him as a top 10 quarterback with Russell
Who
Wilson.
do you think is better than Russell Wilson?
What do you mean?
Besides,
No, like currently, like Lamar, Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, if he had
Deshaun
weapons
Watson's not better than Russell Wilson.
athletically, probably. No, because Russell Wilson has experience in years, so currently, no. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
Russell Wilson is literally a better version of
Yeah,
Deshaun Watson. I would
yeah.
say Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, maybe Drew Brees, and that's it.
See,
Russ is 4 at worst, I'd say.
I don't understand the philosophy of like obviously the league is shifting towards mobile quarterbacks, but even since I was a kid, I'd always believed in the like why wouldn't you want a mobile quarterback like Michael Vick or
Yeah,
like why
you want
wouldn't
Michael
you want
Vick.
that?
Even something like that's barely mobile. Like Alex Smith is mobile enough to be a threat, right?
Right. Someone
Like,
that makes you have to cover them because you're
yeah,
terrified of them scrambling is immensely better than a pocket passer. So I don't know.
Patriots fans just laugh.
Well, they got Cam Newton now. Like they got away from Tom Brady. All right. Well, Cardinals won a
Apparently,
game
the
against.
Cardinals missed 9 points in field goals too, so this game looks closer than it actually was. Which I mean, people say that, but I think if you didn't get the points on the board, then you didn't get the points, right?
Right.
You suck. You deserve it.
No, yeah, no. I don't think this is the end of the 49ers season. I think it's
No,
just a
a
hiccup.
lot of people are saying that, which I think is hilarious because it's like, okay, are we gonna rule out the Tampa Bay Buccaneers too? That the next game they lost one game, they're out. They're out.
Yeah.
It's a failure. Screw
This
it.
yeah, this week is obviously like no preseason, nothing. Things
Hmm.
go bad. So there's no reason to get over
Yeah,
hyped or like
like the Niners are bottom of their division right now. I think the Bucks are bottom of their division. I wouldn't expect both those teams to still be in the bottom half of their division at the end of the season, right?
right. So the Bucks Saints game, the Saints just demolished the Buccaneers in
They
that game.
we
They
both had the Saints winning. I don't think we expected this type of eating.
No, I thought it'd be like a high scoring that the Saints
Yeah.
come down on the last drive and win the game on like a Drew Brees, Hail Mary type of situation. But I didn't expect the absolute just like dismantling of the Buccaneers offense and
Yeah.
defense, which Bruce Arians after the game came out and was like, well, the timing wasn't just like it wasn't there. Tom Brady was like
Yeah.
off sync with his receivers and whatnot, which yeah, fair enough. Like
Which, I mean, I would think you could say the same thing about Jameis Winston. I feel
right,
like
I
Bruce
think
Arians runs an aggressive style offense that caters towards the high probability of interceptions, right? I
yeah,
don't think it was
that's
necessarily Jameis Winston's fault all of last
Jameis.
year.
Like looking at Tom Brady's performance and looking at Jameis Winston the past couple years
Yeah.
and how everyone just shat on him. It's like, to be fair, Tom
Yeah.
Brady is what you guys consider a top level quarterback, and he did
hmm
the exact same in the
Yeah.
same
Even if you
system.
look back at the Cardinals, Carson Palmer, when Bruce Arians was there, he threw picks all the time. He was a turnover machine, but he compensated, right? Like he'd score like 50 touchdowns, but he had 25 picks. 25 picks is a lot of interceptions, but when you're scoring, 40 touchdowns, you
People
get
forget.
overshadowed a little bit. Yeah. And then I think Bruce Arians is too blessed, right? You look at the offense, it's loaded, especially in terms of receiving. And so I think he's telling his quarterbacks, Jameis Winston and Tom Brady, just lob it up 50-50 balls. Mike Evans is going to catch it. Chris
Right.
Godwin's going to catch it.
Which
And it's a dangerous philosophy.
Mike Evans in this game didn't catch it, right? Like he caught one ball for a touchdown and that's it. So it's frustrating, if anything.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, no, I think the Buccaneers throughout the season will get better because the timing and everything
Yeah.
will work itself out. But
Although there is also the factor that Tom Brady could be finally getting old, right?
right,
Like,
which fun stat: Tom Brady's the first quarterback to throw a pick six in 3 consecutive games since like Blaine Gabbert, and which Blaine Gabbert is his backup right now on the Bucks. So pick your poison there,
no,
Bucko.
Tom Brady's learning from the master.
He's learning, right. He's learning from the best. Which,
Um,
yeah, it's I don't know. All right, Rams, Cowboys. This
you
game,
said Rams, I
I
said
just
Cowboys.
yeah,
Yeah.
because well, the Rams are just the better team.
You got that inside information.
I
I don't
mean,
know. I like CeeDee Lamb. I was rooting for him. I got Amari Cooper on fantasy. I wanted him to do good. He did, but
it was this game. The Cowboys totally could have won this game. Like the Rams missed field goals. They messed up, you know. But the Cowboys, I would blame it completely on their coaching. I'd blame that game completely on the Cowboys coaching because it was like early in the fourth quarter, right? Instead of taking the three extra, like it was the same score. It was 17-20, like early on in the fourth quarter, and the Cowboys were in the red zone. And instead of taking the easy, 3 points, a field goal, they chose to go for it, and they got stuffed. So they got stuffed, and then the final score came out to
yeah.
be 17 to
A bunch of
20.
people I've seen been getting mad about the offensive PI call, which I think is ridiculous. Like it's clearly offensive PI, right? Like he's shoving Jalen Ramsey back. There's not a question about it, right?
Right. Also, I mean, to be fair, Jalen Ramsey is an incredible actor. I bet he's been taking some acting
Mhm.
classes, but still, it's offensive
Yeah,
PI.
it's
He
still
pushed
PI, yeah.
off. Like we know the rule books, right? Like people get upset. Like when obvious PI calls get called or like get ignored, that's like people have a reason to be upset. But when it's like
Mhm.
it's fairly obvious that the man pushed off to get that
Yeah,
reception. So
Cowboys fans just want to cry. That's what I chalk it up
yeah,
to.
they salty, they sad, they real sad.
They still mad about Dez, bruh. I don't want to hear
I mean, they're gonna be mad about this when they go 0-16.
it. Steelers Giants. Steelers won. I
Steelers
don't want to
won.
talk about it any more than that. And then currently the
Wait,
Broncos.
did we both say Steelers?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, yeah.
And then currently the Broncos are beating the Titans
Which
14-13.
you said Broncos, right? And I said Titans.
Yes, there's 6 minutes left in the game, so it'll probably end while we're
Yeah,
talking and
towards the
looking
end.
back at
But
it. Yeah.
I want to ask you this: do you think there's any teams this year that can go 0-16?
Wow, let me look at who lost. I think it would depend on how things play out. Obviously, um,
Actually, I don't
right
think there
now,
is. I don't think there is.
for me, the best candidate would be the Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets. Obviously,
Really?
neither of them, they can't both do it right, but I think one of them could do it. And I say that because I think those two teams not only are already like bottom of the barrel, but they have the highest probability for injuries out of the
You want to talk
teams
about
that
injuries?
lost,
Look at
I'd
the
say.
Phillies, the
That's
Eagles.
true. But I think the Eagles are that team where it's like they play to their competition. I feel like the
Right.
Rams used to do. So when they play a team that's projected to go 0-16, like the Redskins, they're gonna play like an 0-16 team.
Which the
And then
funny
when
thing
they
about
play
that
their
game
division,
was they were up 17-0. The
ah,
the Washington football team scored 27 unanswered points.
this is sad.
It is very sad. It's really sad. My candidate, I'd say, would have to be the Lions. I think the
I thought
Lions
of
just
that. They're just cursed though. Like I have
yeah.
no football reason to say it's the Lions other than the fact that it's the Detroit
But
Lions.
see, my thing is like Patricia should have gotten fired already. I don't know why he's still there. Like their previous coach had a way better
No, I
record.
told you. No, I told you. So he's getting a load off because Matthew Stafford got hurt last season, and they were good when he was in. They went 3-0-1, and so people think Matt Patricia's this genius, and they don't realize no, Matthew Stafford can just carry the team. Like even in this game, it's not Matthew Stafford's fault that DeAndre Swift didn't catch the ball, right? Like
Well, it's their fault that they let the Bears come back. Like
no. You can't blame that on Matthew Stafford though. That's Matt Patricia's bad defense
defense,
letting them come
right?
back,
I
right?
believe the Lions were up 23-3, or no, they were up 23-6, right? And then
Yeah.
in the fourth quarter, Metro,
Chicago's like 21 maybe.
yeah, they
2 up.
just won the game. So it's like, how do you let that happen, dude? Like, you'd think you'd be able to muster up a field goal or something, which a field goal wouldn't have won that game for them, but still, like, or stop the Bears.
I feel bad for Lions and Browns fans. I feel like they're the most screwed over.
They just
I would say Chargers fans, but they don't exist.
they
So
don't
I'm just saying
deserve.
they're
Yeah,
nah.
no one's actually upset at the Chargers. It's just it's ridiculous how terrible those teams can be at times.
Hmm.
Did you
All right.
want to discuss the injuries? Because it's week one.
Yes.
There's quite a
So
few.
Marlon Mack got hurt, and that means that Jonathan Taylor is going to be taking the load. Now, did Jonathan Taylor, did he play
Yeah, he played.
this game? He did. Let me see.
He played.
9 for 22. That's meh.
Yeah,
I hyped up Jonathan Taylor as being the best running back in his draft class, so I hope he lives up to it.
yeah. But
And he's behind a good offensive line too, so there's no real excuse for him to not perform.
see, my thing though is there's reports coming out that the Colts are looking for a replacement running back in Lamar Miller, or that's his name, right? The guy that got cut from the
Yeah, the
Patriots.
guy. Yeah.
So he
Why
might get
though?
more reps, but I'm thinking he might get screwed over by just the front office not trusting him.
Well, I mean, if he hasn't shown it this far in training, I mean, look at the Colts. They seem pretty good at recognizing talent and developing it.
Right.
So the fact that he got drafted would make you think he's good, but then if they're not willing to commit to him, that makes you second guess.
Yeah, it does. It
Um,
does. It does.
Next is Blake Jarwin, which
Wait, well,
isn't he
who?
the backup tight end for the Dallas Cowboys?
He was the starter in that game, but
No.
well, he tore his ACL, so he's done for the season. So it doesn't matter. Um, yeah, he tore it on a non-contact play. Like he was running a route and he just
Ouch.
fell to the ground. So yeah, there's no real like you
Yeah.
can't really blame anybody for it. Like you can't blame like, oh, well, that's a dirty play
He
by.
needs to eat more bananas. That's all
Yeah,
on him, bro.
yeah. He needs to eat his carrots.
Yeah, those are
Uh,
the only season-ending injuries.
no. Oh well,
Right?
technically, what's his name? The the Cowboys linebacker
Oh yeah, their linebacker's having surgery
to
on
fix his
his
collarbone.
clavicle.
Yeah, he he's out for like 6 or 8 weeks, but that's not
Yeah,
season injury.
I thought they said like the recovery time though could make it season injury. Like if he chooses to come back at the earliest possible time, he'll be back. But if not, then he'll
Yeah,
be back like week 12 or something. Which is like if your team's 5-10 or something at that
there's no
point, why would
point,
you come
right?
back?
Oh,
So
I
next
got the
is
stat. All right, since their week 1 season opener in 2004, like when
mm-hmm.
the Cleveland Browns are 0 and 15 and 1. So, they real bad.
Ouch.
Michael Thomas, he hurt his
This
ankle.
is temporary though, right?
This is they're not releasing any information about his injury until Monday night because they're not playing till Monday night. So no one needs to know what's wrong with him,
Nobody
right?
needs to know.
But it looked like they're saying it's a high ankle sprain and
Yeah.
that he'll probably be back by
Yeah,
Monday
his
night.
status is probable, so it's more like we want the other team to just not prepare for him when they should be
Right.
prepared.
Like we want the other team to think that he's going to play and then completely ruin their defensive plan when we come out there.
Yeah.
Oh, the tight end on the Browns, David
Njoku.
he's out. He's on injured reserve, so he's at least out for 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So there was injuries. Le'Veon Bell, he's out for a couple games.
Let's go, Frank Gore, the man.
Which my favorite thing about the Le'Veon Bell situation is, prior to the season starting, he tweeted out that his hamstring was fine, right? So literally, he hurts his hamstring in the
Bananas.
first.
NFL players eat your bananas, bro. They save your seasons.
They save your seasons.
Kittle, we kind of talked about him. I think he'll play. I mean, he finished the game. He just didn't catch it. So
Yeah, I mean,
it's gonna be like last season. He's just gonna play through it.
he's gonna be hurt. He's not gonna be.
We're not gonna win a game if he doesn't play through it. So he's got to play through it.
He's got to figure it out. The Patriots signed. They gave Stephon Gilmore a pay raise to match Jalen Ramsey's contract. I don't know if he didn't get an extension or anything, but I think his current contract just got a pay raise to like the Jalen Ramsey type money. So I guess that kind of suggests where he's gonna be once he hits free agency. He's gonna be way more expensive than Jalen Ramsey, and I don't think the Patriots are gonna buy him.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Titans will, because we all know the Titans are the Patriots from 2 years ago.
But the Titans are gonna have to. Didn't they franchise tag Derrick Henry, right? So they're gonna have to let him go if they want him.
Probably. I don't know. Well, maybe Derrick Henry completely shits the bed, and then the Titans can keep him.
Titans like, "Hey, bro, you gotta go back to your rookie contract. We can't be doing this."
Yeah, we can't. Ooh, okay. I don't think we've talked about this though. The Alvin Kamara and Dalvin Cook both got contract extensions. Big boy contracts. I don't know where. I'm assuming. I don't know where the Saints got their money.
Alvin Kamara is getting $1 this year. There's no way that
right. He's getting a high five, a happy meal, and I don't know what else. Like he's literally. I don't understand how they're paying this much money. Like I think I sent you a stat like a couple weeks ago of how in debt or like over the cap the Saints are
projected to be next season. Yeah,
and that's I think without even assuming that the cap goes down and it just stays at its level right now. I think they were like down what 40. Oh no, I have the thing right here. They are down like $78 million.
Jesus Christ.
Which the Eagles are projected to be $90 million over the cap. So
they're not even.
Actually, no. This stat.
The Eagles are all dead though, so they're even in a worse spot, right? Their players are stuck at injured reserve.
Okay, I think the cap right now is at like 210 million, and the thing I
Yeah,
sent you is expecting the cap to go down to like 175 million. So that's where that.
that seems excessive to me. I think
Yeah,
it'll go down like 190 at
right.
most.
So they're still over the cap though, like
Yeah, by a lot.
by a lot, and this contract does not help whatsoever. And I don't know if they have dead money that's going to clear up for them next season or what. Like,
Well, the thing about being over the cap is that you have a set amount of money that you can spend as a franchise on players, but obviously the franchise has more money than just that set amount.
right.
So I is that dead money cannot not like if you have money you need to pay, say Tony Romo because he's still on contract for you even though he retired. Do you have to pay him using your cap space money?
Yeah, that's why the Rams cap
Okay.
situation is so bad this season, and everyone is making a big deal about how terrible their cap situation is because literally, I think they have to pay like $20 million to Todd Gurley and like $20 million to Brandon Cooks. But come next
Um,
off season, that money's gonna be gone. Like they don't have to pay it anymore.
could an NFL team like the Rams go up to Todd Gurley this next at the end of the season and say, "Hey, can we renegotiate your contract? Push his 20 million back another 2 years or something?"
Well, no,
Or
it's
is it
already
stuck there because he's not on their team anymore?
no. They're gonna pay it off this year and get it off
Hmm.
their books. So unless they negotiate like a Bobby Bonilla type of contract where we'll pay you $1,000 every year on July 20th, and we'll just do it for the next 100 years. You know, that's. Do you know about Bobby Bonilla Day?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. It's my favorite day of the year. I love it so much.
That man needs to get paid.
That man gets
Did so
paid
much
what?
for that organization.
He did. Well, let me look it up. I don't remember the exact money. But Bobby Bonilla Day. It's July 1st, where he gets so every July 1st until 2035, he gets a million or 1.2 million dollars.
Beautiful.
It is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I love it. Like
When was
the
the last time he played?
oh, when was the last time? When was the last? I think I want to say early 2010s. So he hasn't played in well over 10 years, I believe.
Decade.
Last game. Uh oh 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 oh. He hasn't played since 2001. So before we were
Let's
born.
go. Let's go. This is a national holiday. I have never been alive a day that Bobby Bonilla Day did not exist. I am so proud of myself.
Right. He oh my goodness. Yeah, this has been
Been
an
siphoning. Who's the organization?
the Mets.
He's been siphoning the Mets for the last 20 years. And he's gonna keep doing it for another 15.
Yeah, he has it, dude. He has that money on lock. I'm assuming the Mets have come up to him to try to renegotiate that contract in an
It's just like
offseason.
no.
No, I want it. Give me my million every year. Which
At this point, it's just spite. He's like, I want it. It's my day. Don't take it from me.
honestly, I if I was him, I'd renegotiate the contract to get like half a million instead of the full million every year and just keep it going. Just keep it
The
going until
Nets
he
are
dies.
being, or the Mets, they're being bought out in a couple days, I think.
What do you mean?
Robert Cohen,
I
some
haven't.
billionaire, is buying out the Mets. The only thing that's pending is the owners, 23 of the 30, have to agree to let him buy it out.
I don't know anything about baseball, so I don't know how true or if that's a lie.
You
But if you,
can look it up right now if you want.
nah, I believe you. The Mets aren't worth that much. I believe it. Yeah, no, it's yeah. He's a national hero, if anything. Like
Hero.
he's a national hero. Okay, do you? So were there any
What's
games?
next?
Was there anything specifically NFL the first week that you wanted to get to?
Um, no, I don't think there was anything first
Okay,
week that
so
popped out.
Thursday's this week's Thursday game is the Browns versus Bengals. What do you think? What do you think? Who's gonna win that game?
I got the Bengals.
Really?
It's in Cincinnati, right?
Oh, Bengals at Cleveland.
No, no way.
The
For
Bengals are
real?
the
Dang
Beng.
it.
I don't see the Bengals winning that game.
I don't either, but I mean, who got blown out this week?
Yeah, but the the Ravens are like 100 times better than the Chargers. So
Shut up. Okay, they got blown out, and they're gonna get blown out again.
I
They're
don't.
gonna go 0-16 again.
You know what? If they lose to the Bengals this week, right? I would I
That's
would
fair.
I would probably go against the Browns every single week from
Yeah.
now on. Like,
This is like Among Us. You're saying if it's not the Browns this season, this week, then it's not gonna be them ever again.
right? Like, oh my goodness, looking at
So we'll say Browns, but
it's a very hesitant
you're on
Browns.
thin ice, buddy.
Yeah, the Browns. If you don't win this game, you're never gonna win a game. All right. Like, actually, they play Washington next week, so Jesus, how easy could this schedule get?
They're
Uh,
gonna have the easiest schedule in NFL history and go 0-16.
right. Okay. I just want to run through this schedule real quick with you. Okay. So the Browns lose this game against the Bengals, then they go and play Washington and absolutely get destroyed by the Washington vicious defense. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go to the Cowboys and get blown away by Dak and that air
Easy.
raid offense. What's the next game? Then the Browns play the Colts, and Jonathan Taylor blows past the Browns defense and rushes for like 200 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Rookie of the year type game.
Rookie, yeah. Then then the Browns play the Steelers, and we know what happens when the Browns play the Steelers. All right, nothing good ever happens. Then the Browns play the Bengals again, and the Bengals are feeling themselves because
It's the Browns.
because the Browns are doo doo and the Bengals have Joe Burrow. All right, so they beat him again.
Bengals fans is back. Our number one pick's better than your number one pick. That's all that
Right,
matters.
which I don't even
Bengals
know
are
who the
gonna go.
Browns' number one pick
Bengals are
was.
gonna go. It was Joe
Oh,
Burrow.
no, the
And
Browns. Oh, I guess you're talking about
Browns,
Baker Mayfield.
Mayfield.
Yeah, okay.
The Bengals are gonna go 2-14, and the Browns are gonna go 0-16. They're gonna have the top two picks.
Right. Which this year, I don't even. I guess. Do you think Trevor Lawrence is a top overall pick, like the number one pick in this year's draft?
I'm not a fan of Trevor Lawrence.
Neither am
but
I.
If you believe the hype around him, then yes, he would be the number one pick.
Right. Well, here's the thing. He's a good football player. He's been ranked like the number one quarterback since high school, right? Like he has the hype going into the draft, but I just don't think he's the quarterback.
When I watch him play, he doesn't stand out to me. Like every game
Right.
I've ever watched him play in, I'm like, really? That's the guy that's getting hyped up right now.
See, I think it's just because he's the product. Like he's the perfect quarterback. If you were looking for a quarterback 10 years ago, right?
Maybe.
But the thing for me is, I just enjoy mobile quarterbacks and quarterbacks that can use their feet. And sure, he has rushing touchdowns, but like, he's not like busting out a 30-yard run for a touchdown.
Black. That's what you're saying.
Damn it, John. Oh, it's gonna make my next statement even worse because I was like, well, if you look at Justin Fields, I think he's a way better quarterback.
Justin Fields isn't even like defined as a mobile quarterback. He's a pocket passer too. What is that comparison?
No, I've seen him leave the pocket way better. Whatever. Who's a mobile quarterback in college right now?
I don't know. I don't think there is one. There's no college football right now. What are you talking about?
Yeah, there is. It was the first week this week.
Hold
up.
Brock Purdy, huh?
Brock Purdy is the king. Brock Purdy is John, I wanna. Okay, so we're gonna update you on the Titans game. It is currently. Oh my God, he made it. The Titans win the game. The Titans won.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
They just won. They won, dude. They just won. Okay, so Steven Janikowski, right? That's his name, the Titans kicker.
Mm-hmm.
He was 0 for 3 and missed an extra point in this game, and
Gosh.
he just won the game on a game-winning field goal
What the hell, Titans? Why would you even put him on the field? If I were the Titans, I would go for it. I
because
wouldn't
they have
even put him
faith.
on the
They
field.
have faith. They have faith, and
Oh
they
and
just won the
4. What
game.
kind of faith do you have, bro? Like,
He was 0
I
and
mean,
3.
no, I'm counting that extra point. Okay, 0 and 4.
I mean, he won other extra point. He made one extra point. He just missed the other one. Okay,
1 and 5.
2 and 6, dog. It's 2 and 6. If you count all of his. Oh, actually, hold up. The game's not over. There's 17
It's
seconds
not
left in the
over.
game.
There's 17
Uh,
seconds.
the
I
Broncos
was
might
looking at
go
that
for it.
too.
They might throw a deep ball and let their kicker go for a game-tying field goal or a game-winning
I'm
field goal.
excited.
I'm very excited. All right, back to what we were saying. Brock Purdy.
Purdy's the go. I've been hyping him up the last year. So last season, I was looking through college players, and I saw a bunch of college players pop out. I realized that on my list there were a bunch of people who were ineligible, right? They couldn't be drafted. So I made a separate list of just those players who I could look at again this year. And Brock
Right.
Purdy is at like near the top of that list because I've been hyping him up so much. He looks amazing, and then he comes out and loses to Lafayette, and I hate it because the announcers during the game, like they were up 14 to like 3
Yeah, they
during the
blew that
second
game.
quarter, and the announcer goes, "Yeah, this is Lafayette's biggest game in school history." I'm
Yeah,
like, "What?"
they've only ever beaten a top 25 ranked team, which Iowa State was, or it's Iowa State, right? Not.
Yeah, they're 23.
Yeah, they were ranked number 23. Let's get and
I mean, are they gonna drop? Like, I would expect them to drop, but I don't know who's opted in and opted out. Like,
there's at least 25 teams that could, because the original top 25 included teams that haven't played. So
how it did.
yeah,
See,
so
that's my thing. If it's including teams that haven't played, then Iowa State could stay where it's at, just because all the teams that would have replaced them are just gonna jump over them and replace teams that aren't active.
right, which I don't know. To be fair, for Iowa State, literally every other Big 12, or it's Big 12, right? That's their conference that they play in.
I think so.
Every other Big 12 school except Texas and Iowa and Oklahoma lost that day. So
So okay, so I watched the first 3 quarters of the Iowa State game, and I remember going into this game, all the announcers were like, "Brock Purdy's a dark horse. The only thing about him is his team sucks."
he
I didn't
does.
believe
I
him.
I agree with them.
Like I watched that first 3 quarters, and they were hyping out the receivers so much.
No,
They had
they
a
weren't.
6'4" receiver, 6'3", 6'6", 6'2", 6'7" tight ends. They're like, he has weapons everywhere. I'm like, okay, let's go. He starts throwing the ball. I'm
They
like,
dropped.
okay,
They
he's
dropped
throwing
every
his
single
dives, and
pass.
they drop every single. Like they weren't perfect passes by any
Right.
means, but every single ball was a catchable ball, 100%. Like it looked like there was communication issues. Like OTAs weren't long enough. Like he was throwing balls slightly behind. Like they were doing back shoulder catches instead of in the chest catches. But it's like every single ball you should have caught and you didn't, and it screwed him over. And then there
Right.
was one play where I don't want to question a football player's effort, but this receiver, he had caught the ball, and then the corner came up and hit his arms, and then just took the ball out of his hands and got an interception. Like what? You caught the ball for the corner. That is what
Right.
happened on that play. It's like if Brock Purdy were on, say, Clemson, I think he would
Oh yeah. Well,
be
that's
the hype that Trevor Lawrence has. Being where he is, not even like in terms of like competition, like literally just his team is so bad around him. Like Louisiana their defense looked amazing. Their DBs looked like they should be NFL prospects, all of them. That's how bad those wide receivers and tight ends were.
no. Yeah, I agree with you. I watched like the first half of that game, and I was like, okay, he's good. Brock Purdy, I agree with John. John was
Not
right to hype
decent.
him up.
He's at least
Right.
decent.
Like I see him as the number 4 quarterback, right?
Yeah.
So at least late first round.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just his receivers were dropping
Mm-hmm.
every single pass, and like you can't ignore that. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's
You
throwing
can't.
passes. Like it's the old rule of like if it hits your hands, you should have caught
Yeah.
it,
It
right?
hits your hands, you catch it. And yeah, it's just so frustrating to watch bad like football, right? Like even
Right.
whether you're a Purdy fan, Iowa State fan, it's just football to see the receivers do that. It's very
It
frustrating.
is.
Titans officially won.
Yeah, the Titans won, and told you, bro.
You're up 10-8.
Doo 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 doo. How many games were there?
16.
Okay,
So I
so
got half of them right. You got 10 out of 16.
is that
Or
including
more or
the
something.
what's it called? Oh, the
It's all
yeah.
16 games.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, never mind. Being dumb. Um, the first bye week doesn't happen until like week 5, right?
Week
Yeah,
4 or 5, something
yeah,
like that.
week 5. Okay. It, yeah, no, college football is one like, especially. All right, so this show's gonna become football for the next couple weeks, right? So it's all we're gonna really be talking about. But like this season football, like I watched college football on Saturday, and then I watched NFL on Sunday, and watching it was some of the most frustrating stuff in the world because like it was just like stuff that people should know how to do, or like there should be like some level of consistency. Like it just wasn't there. Like it was just bad
Yeah.
football. Like it was like, what are you doing? How are you playing?
Watching Iowa State reminded me of our high
Watching the
school
JV
football
team,
team with the
or
senior year.
or watching
Like,
freshmen.
especially the receiver. Like, no, like our senior varsity team,
Oh, like
our
all the dropped
receivers,
passes.
all the dropped pass, our receivers couldn't catch a
I
single
was a better
ball the
receiver.
entire year. That's so sad. Like,
No, okay. You know what annoyed me the most in the Giants Steelers game, right? Like the
mhm,
Steelers pass rush was obviously better than the Giants offensive line,
yes.
but there was a play in that game where the Giants right tackle went to block the outs, like, so two Steeler players were, one was rushing inside, one was rushing outside, and he went to go block the man outside, but halfway he didn't commit. He was like halfway, like when he took a step, he tried to go back inside, but he didn't.
Yeah.
But since I've started playing football, I've always been taught inside out.
Inside first. Yeah.
Inside out. Like the shortest path to the quarterback is the inside lane. So
Mm-hmm.
let him run. Like the man was taking a wide berth to.
Yeah.
So it's like, cover your inside. What are you doing? Why are you blocking the pass rusher to the outside? Why didn't you look inside? Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm most sophisticated level of football I ever played was high school football, dude. And I know this. Like, come
Mm-hmm.
on.
You don't know the advanced stats, but would you come out, make them think you're gonna go outside, come back inside and block?
It's like I don't. It's stuff like that. It's like I I get it. Well, I'm sitting on my couch and like judging NFL players. It's like, but it's like
It's like when you have a rudimentary understanding and you still know better, like that's a problem. Like,
it's, and that's the thing. That's like some quarter. Like I get it. It's different. Like if you're looking after the fact and like in person, but it's like there's some like plays where I look at like a quarterback's reading of a play developing, and I'm like, dude, why did you throw it to him
mhm.
when obviously if you did your route and you knew the coverage, this man would be open.
Yeah,
Like
that happened a lot in the Niner game. Jimmy Garoppolo, like during the game, I guess they were showing wide open receivers that he was just missing. Like literally, he just had to just throw it in the general area, and there was no one there to stop the receiver from just going up and getting it. And he was completely, he didn't even see him, didn't even throw it.
right.
And it's like these basic mistakes are costing you, like you're going to get paid millions and millions of dollars to not do your job. I don't understand.
which I think that's just a factor of week one and no preseason, but still, it's like
Mhm. It's
you,
like you're a football player. Aaron Rodgers said in an interview, "We're football players. There's a certain level of professionalism that's expected, no, whether or not you had OTAs or preseason, right?"
right.
He didn't. He's like, "I don't expect there to be many more mistakes besides like special teams and stuff like that." He's like, "I'm pretty
There
sure
was,
offenses and defenses are going to have their stuff down." And the Packers came out and they had their stuff down.
right.
But then other teams are coming out. It's like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah. Other teams
good.
came out and it's like, how are you, how are you an NFL team? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. I
And
will say for the Steelers Giants game, the Steelers dominated the line. This actually, I should take it back. The Steelers' defensive line dominated, and I think the Giants' defensive line did very well too.
right.
And I think the Giants. But there was a whole thing going around about the Giants using tennis balls on their hands to
Yeah.
stop
That
them from.
thing.
Yeah, the Giants' defensive position coaches, I think, are really good because those defensive backs were not that good last season, and I feel like they played their men well. I think the defensive back play caller is terrible. He was putting his players in positions to fail. They showed like they ran man coverage like the entire night, and it's like clearly this isn't working. You keep getting beat by Eric Ebron going over the top, and then
Throwing it
Juju coming
underneath.
around
Yeah.
underneath. Yes, like the
Like,
same play over and over and over again. You clearly your man coverage isn't working. You need to switch it up, and he didn't. Like the corners were doing their like you're looking like these are most of them weren't easy throws. There were a couple in the beginning, I think, where it's like, oh, Juju's wide open or something like that.
right.
But for the most part, it was like, this is what you should expect from man coverage, right? You don't have all-star corners on your roster. You shouldn't expect everyone to be locked down.
Well, no, it's the
And
thing. It's like that play worked so well with their coverage
hmm
because Ibram would just push the his man like out of the zone, and then
yeah,
Juju's man would come in, but he'd get like stopped and go like underneath, but he'd
hmm
overestimate like how far, and just Juju would just be
yeah,
there with an open path to the outside. So it's like, man,
yeah.
run some
Like the
zone.
announcers were talking about how critical Juju is to this offense. Like, no, if you're watching it, Eric Ebron is the biggest part of this offense right now,
Right.
and
He
he
caught
has
one
caught
ball that
one
game,
ball,
but
one ball, and he was the biggest part of that offense.
right. If it wasn't for him and his route running and like what like
hmm
I guess yeah, like the way he ran his route, like they
Yeah,
wouldn't have
he's a
Juju wide
veteran
open.
player.
So it's yeah, it's stuff like that where it's like teams how well teams were ready for football really affected this week one.
hmm
Like uh let's I don't know if there's any other games that we could really it's the Colts, I think they lost because they weren't ready to play football, you know. But I think they lost mainly because of Philip Rivers and but you know, you should know. Philip Rivers likes to
I don't
throw
like
interceptions.
Philip Rivers is a big reason I didn't like the Chargers, right? Like I think there might be a little disdain for him still left, so I still hate the Chargers. Yeah, he's overrated in my like when you have a team like everyone loves him because he like came back from the ACL thing or MCL thing in the playoff game, and I'm like, okay, maybe if he doesn't play through an injury, the backup quarterback pulls a Richard Nick and comes out and wins. Like
Right.
maybe you don't need to sacrifice this much. And it's like as a professional, like how do you go so long and that bad, right? The entire time. Like I don't understand how Philip Rivers gets like a get out of jail free card because he's on a bad team. I'm like he's part of the bad team. He's not just on the bad team,
He's a
right?
reason why the team loses.
Yes.
So it yeah, no. You know what? I think we'll leave it on this question. So obviously last season Mitchell Trubisky's like rookie season, he played really well, right? Like people are like, oh, he's worth the pick or whatever. And then this last season, he played doo doo, like absolute
Yeah.
doo doo. And then for the first half of the week one, he played doo doo, and then in the fourth quarter, he played well enough, right, to win the game.
Yeah.
Do you think? I think that Mitchell Trubisky for the rest of his career is just going to play well enough to keep his starting job. I don't think he's going to lose it.
I remember we're talking about this at the end of last season. I think they finished the season like 4-2 or something like 4-1, something like that. And they're like, Mitch Trubisky is tricking the Bears to play good enough to keep the starting job. They're not going to get someone in free agency. They're not going to draft someone. He's going to screw the Bears over for the rest of his career, keeping them somewhere between 6-10 and 10-6. They're never going to go anywhere in the playoffs, and they're never going to be able to move on for him unless they trade up to get a good quarterback or they sign free agents. And I think it's true. I think he's got the Bears in a chokehold, and they're stuck with him.
Well, it's not just. I think he'll play good enough for the rest of his career to the point where like they won't want to trade him or anything.
Yeah, he can trick
But
the fans.
also, I think the Bears' ego and like front management and office are just booty hurt and don't want to admit that they drafted the wrong quarterback in that draft class.
We drafted Mitchell Trubisky over Deshaun Watson
And
and
Patrick
over Patrick
Mahomes,
Mahomes.
over Lamar Jackson, and the quarterbacks go on.
Lamar
And
Jackson wasn't that draft.
wasn't he? Or no, he's the next draft.
No, he was the next draft. Lamar Jackson's younger than all of them.
I mean, he's younger than Joe Burrow too.
Okay, shut up. Okay, but I mean,
Joe
like,
Burrow's old, bro. He's old. he's a.
He actually played all 4 years.
You know, he played 5 years.
5 years, yeah.
He played 5 years, so it's like that was another thing about Joe Burrow that I didn't quite like when he was coming out. Like, I get it, he played really well for LSU, but like, the man's old. All right, like, of course he played well. He should be expected to be a.
He's
like
a man among boys.
Right, like the boy has 5 years of college experience. Like, if you don't expect him to play well, then I don't know what you expect from him. So, yeah, You know what? Last thing I'm gonna say is Brock Purdy is the king of the college football world. He's a gem. All right,
He's literally a diamond in the rough.
he's a diamond in the rough. Watch him. Show him love. We love you, Brock Purdy. All right, bye, y'all.